welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. Hey, if this is your first time tuning in, I come out with a video, something simple, delicious, and healthier, usually every other week. And as of the latter part of 24, 25, I've been focusing on vegan and plant-based kinds of dishes because that's what I am now. So I don't have a diet of plant-based vegan. I have a lifestyle. And so I want to share with you all one of my very favorite dishes, pasta e fagioli. Now, you'll know this if you've gone to Olive Garden. It's one of their classic soups, and it's amazing. And so if you are vegan, plant-based, I'm going to give you some options here. If you're not, I'll tell you some things that you can substitute, okay? But all of this is just good stuff. So let me tell you what I have, and then we're just going to be loading it up in our crock pot. What I recommend is either use a crock pot or a Dutch oven. I like the crock pot because I can set it, I can go throughout my day, and I come back and everything's ready. The other reason why I like this particular dish for the crock pot is anything with seasonings like Italian and tomato sauce. Oh my God, that works so much better when it's able to sit, okay? I even like this dish better the next day and the next day. And I can tell you, for those of you that have tuned in before, you know that I'm the freeze queen. So I like making large portions so I can freeze. And this freezes so well. I usually put it in like a 28-ounce cup or container, plastic container, and then freeze it. And it makes about 3.5 of those. And I can pull it out when I'm ready and eat it the next day. So let's go on and get started. Let me tell you what we have here, and then we're just going to start offloading all of this, let it cook, and then we'll come back. We'll tape this actually in kind of 3 different sections. So I have onion, carrots, and celery. These are all diced. You can do it by hand if you want. I use just a little mini food processor that chops it for me. Saves me so much time. I've got Rotel, diced tomatoes, and green chili. I like using mild. If you like yours a little spicy, go with the original, but I like mild. I love the Cento. Why do I love Cento? Actually, my ladies at Eat Smart Living Live Longer turned me on to this. The ingredients: vine ripened crushed tomatoes. That's it. That's it. So you can't get much better than that. And then, of course, being a plant-based person, I have to get my proteins largely from beans. So we're going to use a dark red kidney beans and cannelloni beans. We're actually going to rinse those. I also have vegetable broth, and you'll see kind of 2 here because I'm using 5 cups. There's minced garlic. There is parsley, which we're going to put on at the very end. I've got some seasonings here as well. Pasta, really kind of up to you. So I'm using kind of the smaller pastas here that you traditionally would use for this dish. And I'm going to be using Grillers Crumblers by Morningstar. And again, these are all 100% plant-based protein. If you want to use ground turkey, you can cook that and put that in. If you want to use beef, cook it up like you normally would make kind of like a ground meat sauce kind of texture. But we're going to actually put these in at the very end when we put the pasta in because it doesn't need much time. You don't have to put it in with everything else. And then I have some freshly grown parsley from my herb garden. I've got spices, some salt and pepper. I'm going to put the salt on last. For those of you that have watched me, you know in a crock pot, this material actually absorbs that sodium, so I don't put it in. So it's up to you. You actually don't have to put it in any extra salt. You know why? Because we have it in the vegetable broth. So there's only going to be a little teeny bit for me, but you don't actually even have to use it. And then I'm going to be using Italian seasoning. This is going to be our big recipe to get all the nice seasons. So what we're going to do, we're going to go on, we're going to just dump this in the crock pot. So we're going to start off, we've got the celery, as I said, I've chopped this up. And if you're new to the show, then I want you to know that you just look in the description. So go down below, look up in the description, and you can find all of the ingredients and all of the quantities. Sometimes people will say, hey, you didn't say what quantities, right? It's just look down. That's all you have to do. Just look down and you will find it there. All right, let's go in and add our wonderful tomatoes, okay? So we're gonna add that to the dish. And you know, I've got crushed tomatoes. It's totally up to you if you wanna do this, peeled tomatoes. Just use this particular Cento brand because it is going to give you the best. It's not going to have sugar added and just all that other stuff. You just want the real thing, right? So, and they've just kind of done some of the work for you in terms of having it crushed. And then we're going to add our Rotel, just dumping all of this in here right now. Okay. And I'm going to pause for a moment. I do want to rinse both of these beans, and then we're going to add that. So I'm going to just turn this on, and we're going to rinse our beans really well. And why? Why, Shelley, are you rinsing your beans? Because they do have preservatives and things of that nature to keep the beans. I don't need that. I don't need the extra sodium. Again, I've got enough in my vegetable broth or vegetable stock, whichever one you want to use. So got that. So just 1 can. And then we're going to do our cannelloni beans, and we're going to rinse those really well. I just love these beans. I like making a white bean soup. Oh, this is so good. This is so good, so good. All right, we are good to go. We're going to put these in here as well. And let me get these bowls out of the way to make room for the other things we have going on here. Okay. All right. The next thing, I've got minced garlic. You can either use minced garlic or 4 garlic cloves, so totally up to you. And then we're going to go on and add the vegetable broth, okay? I like using, as I said, 5 cups. So one of these containers is 4 cups. And the reason why I like using the 5 cups is because I like to have the soup, right? I want the soup side of it. So that's why we use that. All right, we're gonna go on, again, I'm gonna save that salt. We're gonna add, I'm gonna tell you, you're probably gonna add about a half a teaspoon of pepper and like a tablespoon of this Italian seasoning, okay? And this one is acting funny on me, so we're gonna just open it up. We'll pour it this way. And as I said, this is kind of the winner, right? And I'm gonna add a little bit more for good measure. So it's kind of like 1.5 tablespoons, okay? All right, now what we're gonna do is that's gonna be it for now. I'm going to just stir this up really nicely. We're gonna put the lid on it, and really in about, I'm gonna say 2 hours, this should be great. Remember, there's nothing really you're cooking here except actually for the carrots and the celery and the onions. That's about it. And if they have a little crunch to it, there's nothing wrong with that either. So it doesn't really take long. I do have this on high though, okay? So I want you to know that. So I want this to get really, really, really hot. And what you're gonna notice is that it is, you know, fairly liquidy, right? Which is good. But let me tell you, when we add that pasta, that liquid is going to go down. That's why we want to make sure we have 5 cups. All right, that's all we have to do for right now. We're going to let this do its thing. When we come back, we're going to add the pasta. And then right at the very end, we're going to come back and we're going to stir in our crumblers, our 100% plant-based crumblers. And then we're going to put in our parsley and we're going to taste it. and enjoy it. Okay, so let's let it do its thing. We'll come back and then add those ingredients. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours, and again, your crock pot is going to vary. What you're really trying to cook here are the onions, the carrots, and the celery, and they're diced, so it shouldn't really take that long. And you're trying to let the seasonings kind of simmer. Hey, you could even start this at the start of the day, and you can do it on low and let it cook for 6 to 8 hours, even better. So what we're going to do now that I can tell that the carrots, onions, and celery are done, is we're going to put in our pasta. Again, your choice. I try to stick with whole wheat, and so we're going to use pasta here. It's just about 8 ounces. And then to that, I'm also, as I said, I'm going to be using the griller crumbles by Morningstar Farms. I really like these, and so I'm just going to kind of cover the top with it. So good. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stir this first because I want the pasta. And by the way, because we cooked it, you know, the amount of time that we did, of course, some of the liquid has changed, and so it looks wonderful. I tell you, once that pasta gets ready, it's going to change even more. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to just kind of top it off. You can decide to do this at the very end, or you can do it, you know, kind of when you put in the pasta, because it's not going to stay in that much longer. Some people like using this for, you know, decorations. I like having the parsley as part of the soup. So this is, of course, some of you know, this is the herb scissors that I absolutely love. If you're interested in them, they are in the description section. And I love them so much because it just so nicely just cuts up your herbs like that, you know. So that's why I love them, and I use them with everything, all my herbs. Okay, and we've got them all out, and it's not really sharp, you know, so you won't hurt yourself, as you can see. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of spread this a little bit, and I'm going to say this will probably take, you know, about another 30 to 40 minutes in the crock pot on high, and then we are going to be ready for sampling. All right, we'll be back. Okay, we're all ready, and you will know that it's ready because of the pasta. You know that your pasta is cooked well. So we're going to take the lid off, and certainly I'm going to take a picture so that you can get a sense for what it looks like. And if you're like, well, I'm not sure if the pasta is cooked, well, then just try it, right? If it's soft, it's good, okay? And so I'm just going to put some here in my bowl. This is so delicious. Oh my God, it's so chunky, and yet at the same time, it's just fabulous. So let's take a little taste. I love how this looks, and to think that it has so many wonderful vegetables in here. Plus it has the protein that you will get with your beans. I'm just super excited, okay? All right, let's go for it. It's gonna be hot, so bear with me. This is so good, so good. Now, I opted not to add any salt. And again, it's totally up to you. You taste it, you might say, hey, I want a little bit more salt, or I want a little bit more pepper. Do you, right? Do what is going to meet your taste needs. I'm just trying to keep this as healthy as possible, and this does a trick. So, okay, it's time for me to go. Why? Because I need to eat the soup, and I'm gonna take a piece of sourdough bread and toast it and put it on the side, and I'm going to have a great time. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, just click the little button, and I come out, as I mentioned at the beginning, with a recipe, something simple, delicious, and healthy every other week. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.